there's nothing that gets my wallet tingling more than influencer companies. So sit back with your MrBeast Burger, some Prime to wash it down, and also, maybe for some dessert, Feastables, because we're getting straight into this train wreck. Recently, there's been a new type of development, a new phenomenon in the universe. Sir Isaac Newton didn't exactly think this one into his legendary 5 laws of how to milk money from your internet audience. Influencers starting companies. This is the future of everything. They are the next huge thing. It feels much more personal. And anyways, everyone loves a small business, and you're supporting your favorite influencer. You couldn't ask for anything much more than that. Which is why I'm so proud to announce that I am releasing my own brand new restaurant chain. It's going to be called NFT King. This is the future of restaurants. Instead of actually having a physical restaurant, you actually order it completely online, over your phone. And it gets delivered to you right to your doorstep. This type of thing has never been done before. And with every single order of one of your NFT King burgers, you get a non-fungible certificate of authenticity that the very burger that you are eating is completely unique and never before been made. No one on all of Earth has ever eaten the exact burger that you are ordering. And you also get a discount to my NFT store, which is sponsored in the description below this video. This is the next huge thing. McDonald's and Coca-Cola, not even they will be ready for this level of innovation. Oh, and don't forget to buy my NFTs. Now, if you don't mind me, I'm gonna be on my way to my Forbes interview. They're featuring the next 30 under 30 scammers of the decade, and I'm looking to take the #1 place. So basically, before you get your sponsored socks in a twist, this video is not meant to generalize that somehow companies made by individual people that just happen to also categorize themselves as being influencers are all bad, or in some way incapable of succeeding or generating money, because that would just be plain out right. But since I'm trying to make this as delicate as possible, I'm going to be using a few examples as to explain exactly why influencer companies don't work. And pretty much the word influencer at this point is nothing but the icing on top of the absolute shit cake, representing this whole new trend in this day of age. And the pattern itself keeps on repeating. Look, if you're a YouTuber, if you're a TikToker, even if you are a kicker, you can start your own company and definitely make money. There's dozens of humble brands that have been started by very wholesome people who also identify as creators, but in the bigger picture, there's a pattern that begins to emerge with all of this, and I think it's something that should be investigated, considering it tends to be able to separate millions of dollars from the average everyday person and making them just a little bit dumber in the process. Now, we're going to be using several examples here to basically solidify my point. We're going to be kicking it straight into the end zone here, and there's going to be no room for debate. Now, I've been on YouTube for quite a while, and I'm sure a lot of people watching, unless you're about 8 years old, which could very well be the case, have also as well. And the line between what exactly a YouTuber is and a company has been blurred more and more over the years. But at this point, it's morphed into one thing. Influencers and companies are interchangeable. Gone are the days of bashing things like T-Series for just existing because they're Indians running a music company, and here are the days of embracing McDonald's knockoff wannabe brands because they're made by our favorite YouTuber, who definitely is an individual content creator, also known as an influencer, who does nothing but work every single day to single-handedly provide you with entertainment. And it's by no means the exact same thing as something like T-Series. After all, T-Series was never innovative enough to create T-Series Burger. They were never ahead of the curve. MrBeast Burger, on the other hand, now that is the new big thing. As a matter of fact, it's going to take down McDonald's. Because how could it not? It's made by Mr. Jimmy Donaldson, also known as MrBeast, the single biggest influencer in the whole world. In 2020, MrBeast invented something called MrBeast Burger. And in case it isn't intuitive enough, it's basically burgers.
And how can you not make money with such a brilliant idea?
At first, we didn't know what to do with all the money. We tried burying it, shredding it, and burning it. But in the end, we decided to just give it all away.
Come again, sir. I'm getting back in line.
But this is the genius thing. Instead of actually making restaurants in order to have people go there and eat the burgers, they basically make virtual restaurants where you go on third-party services like DoorDash and order them, and they arrive at your door just as conveniently as his 100 million viewed videos arrive in your subscription box, and basically every single other place on the YouTube homepage, whether you like it or not. But the genius part is, you don't even have to worry about restaurant upkeep, rent, hiring your own employees, advertising your own brand, because that all comes with the package of having 100 million subscribers. Just look at the opening day of MrBeast Burger's first real restaurant.
Who's number 46,853?
Get with the flow, Mickey D's. Burger King, Wendy's, even McDonald's are all going to be left behind. And this is being spoken by journalists themselves. This is actual news. It couldn't be wrong at all. Wait, what's this? MrBeast Burger is shut down because MrBeast can't control the quality of the food. But don't worry, Jimmy Beast has way more things up his sleeve anyway that are way better. After all, how could he not? He's on track to being the first ever YouTube billionaire after all. This man knows what he's doing, hiring employees that work for other companies just to do all of the actual work. The next revolutionary idea, it's going out of the park. It's called chocolate.
Chocolate? Did you say chocolate?
Yes, sir.
Now that is what I call a billionaire idea. Wait a second. Hang on. Oh, MrBeast isn't the first YouTube billionaire? Yeah, no. MrBeast is not the first YouTube billionaire. In 2014, someone called Shay Carl co-developed a company off of YouTube itself, Maker Studios. This company was then later purchased by Disney from an original offer of $500 million, but then later increased to $950 million. Shay Carl sold his company to Disney for this amount, along with all the other co-founders, of course. But then, if we just take the estimate of $950 million, Disney's own offer, and we assume that, of course, since MrBeast somehow owns 100% of his MrBeast company, then Shay Carl, of course, 100% owned Maker Studios, and we whip up a little inflation calculator here, and we see that the amount of money that Shay Carl had sold Maker Studios to Disney for, a YouTuber in 2014, amounts to, well, just about the spending power of $1.2 billion in value today. Which means Shay Carl, yes, was actually the first YouTube billionaire that actually made $1 billion. But that's nonsense after all, because Maker Studios went out of business. Wait. Why am I seeing a pattern here? Yeah, back to what I was saying.
Chocolate?
Now, Feastables is basically MrBeast's main brand at this point. He completely ditched MrBeast Burger because he couldn't control the quality. It was not a real place. Kind of the same way that companies make virtual restaurants. The Meltdown. I've never heard of that one before. Well, guess what? You're actually ordering from Denny's. But anyways, MrBeast Feastables is now available basically everywhere, in every local Walmart near you. And obviously it's a genius move, because if MrBeast only focuses on this now, well, he doesn't have to worry about the quality being ruined with MrBeast Burger, considering the fact that it can never be controlled by him. So, we would obviously imagine that the quality of Feastables chocolate must be just astronomically off the scale. MrBeast's candy is going to replace Hershey's. Just tried Feastables milk chocolate bar for the first time, and OMG, it is so much better than Hershey's. MrBeast, you should just sponsor me at this point. Hershey's sucks. And you're right, Hershey's does suck, because after all, Hershey's uses child labor in order to manufacture their chocolate, and it's an ongoing lawsuit that they've been facing. It sure would be rather weird if it turned out to be that MrBeast Feastables uses the exact same labor service that Hershey's chocolate uses, that's notably being sued for child slavery. Now, MrBeast confirmed the MrBeast Burger is done because he could not guarantee the quality of each order. So sad. The quality of Feastables is just great. And it couldn't be more corroborated by the riveting reviews from the consumers themselves. Don't waste your money. The chocolate bar tasted good, but it came melted. Every one of the 4 chocolate bars were crushed. Nasty AF. Haven't tried this yet, but the bars were broken. The chocolate arrived completely broken. It's useless as a chocolate bar. Well, what's that I hear? I must be cherry picking these reviews. Well, based off of the pristine 2.5-star rating on Walmart itself, they just go on and on and on. But don't worry, because MrBeast is guaranteeing that the quality of this chocolate is going to be up to par by simply getting his fans to do the work for him. Because work smarter, not harder, and while you're at it, use the same labor company as Hershey's, such that you can be sued for child slavery. Damn, I guess Mr. Willy Wonka's Oompa Loompas weren't just a metaphor. And as a matter of fact, that reminds me, let me see Hershey's own reviews of just one of their most basic chocolate bars on Walmart's same website. What is this? 4.7 stars out of 2,490 reviews. That's interesting. It's almost like there's a difference between YouTube world and the real world. It's almost like there's a difference between 10-year-olds watching YouTube videos and the actual everyday consumer. But we all know Hershey's sucks anyway, so it doesn't matter. We could just do the same exact thing and it'll work out. This is what it takes to get on the front cover of Forbes, the most prestigious wealth magazine in the entire world. And they surely don't have a reputation of putting people on their cover. That ended up being, well, a little bit questionable in their behavior after all. But no, instead, only innovative people, the real people who are changing the world by convincing 40 million people to donate $40 million to take trash out of the ocean because it's going to make a big impact. Or raise $20 million to plant 20 million trees to offset the impact of the 40 million trees that are continually chopped down every single day. Yes, $20 million to save the world 12 more hours of time. Or the even more brilliant sequel called Team Seas, which would remove 40 million pounds of trash out of the sea. And it was even with the help of this ex-NASA scientist. He must also know a whole lot about this type of thing. After all, they successfully raised $40 million to take 40 million pounds of trash out of the sea. We were basically back to square one after 18 hours, however, because 70 million pounds of trash is actively put into the oceans on a daily basis. But considering an actual scientist was backing this, clearly it couldn't have possibly been just all one big misleading publicity stunt. It was $40 million of people's money that was well spent. It's not like raising that amount of money for something like changing the actual infrastructure of developing countries or using it to directly fight against the influx of new trash being put into the ocean. Well, that just simply isn't viral enough.
At first, we didn't know what to do with all the money. We tried burying it, shredding it, and burning it.
This is what I call the first YouTube billionaire. But it doesn't even stop there. As a matter of fact, as a personal recommendation, I would think that Forbes should probably put someone in the likes of which of Logan Paul on their next cover, as we have another inspirational genius on the rise. Gatorade is literally quaking in their boots. Yes, Logan Paul and KSI formed a huge publicity stunt by pretending to hate each other and then hit each other in the face for tens of millions of people to watch, just so that they can then promote their own brand new company to millions of their fans. Logan Paul seems to have a tendency to do this type of thing, as he likes to convince his fans to waste millions of their dollars to make himself a little bit more popular and rich.
Here is another masterclass in marketing. So me and KSI just launched Prime in Germany, Spain, Denmark, and Norway. The turnouts were amazing, but we thought, let's have a little fun with this. What would happen if our fans appeared to be angry at us? You big dummies forgot. They're our fans and we asked them to do it.
Throw your empty bottle at us. We need to make it look like you guys hate us.
We got tens of millions of free impressions.
Yes, because as if trying to convince people to pretend to not like you is a very hard thing to achieve, but it turns out that almost everyone in the crowd were throwing bottles that were full of Prime.
Throw your empty bottle at us.
The literal ground was soaked in the wasted money of a subpar energy drink not even as good as Gatorade, of which was funded by the millions of dollars stolen from people's money of CryptoZoo, which still has also not been repaid. That's what I call a genius masterclass at marketing. Prime is the new Gatorade. Oh my.
And there seems to be no sign of intelligent life anywhere.
Just keeps going on. It just never stops.
MrBeast recently turned down a $1 billion offer for his YouTube channel. He said maybe if it was 10 or 20 billion, I'd even consider it. Do you think that he made a bad call?
Let's do some basic math. His most viewed video is 293 million views. That's the $456,000 Squid Game Super Bowl commercial. You do 30 seconds. What are you paying? $5.2 million. And Super Bowl gets roughly 100 million views. He's got total 17 billion views. 17 billion views divided by 100 million, because that's what Super Bowl claims. So that's 170 times $5 million bucks. His one channel alone has generated a minimum of $850 million, and I'm calculating only one commercial. And then added to all the other channels that he has, I think he's right. 10 to $20 billion is the right number.
See, because we have media sources and gurus that are coming on podcasts sharing their genius understanding of first grade level math,
divided by,
we keep having this absolute idiocracy spread to more and more people. And at the end of the day, it's making such a poor example for the actual people at the bottom who are struggling to make their own real brands that are based off of real unique ideas that in comparison will literally never see the light of day. Because the only thing we do see in the mainstream is nothing but a laughing stock.
Let's do some basic math. I think he's right. 10 to $20 billion is the right number.
No, MrBeast is not worth $20 billion. In case you can't understand the basic concept of how YouTube views work, the amount of total views you have on your channel are not individual people. And in MrBeast's case, it would be about the same 12-year-olds watching the videos back over and over and over again. The reason the Super Bowl ads are so expensive is that they're guaranteed to actually reach the eyes of over 100 million adults in the United States of America. The most preferable market any company would want to reach because they actually have money to spend. Little kids watching things like this aren't in that category, and considering without the magical YouTube algorithm, none of these unique, innovative influencer companies would ever make a single dime.
I've sold monorails to Brockway, Ogdenville, and North Haverbrook, and by gum, it put them on the map.
I don't think we need some genius to tell us that something isn't adding up here, but in case you wanted to, well, we have plenty of quotes.
Let's do some basic math.
Channel tomorrow with not using my face or my voice, like without ever promoting it, and in 6 months have 20 million subscribers.
And then they turn around and just say, yeah, it's just because I know more than you. That's why you fail and I succeed.
It's like, if you knew what I knew, you could get 10 million views a video, and you could get 10 million subscribers no matter where you are right now within 6 months. I live through people vicariously all the time and help people just get a couple million subscribers here and there.
Getting to 1 million subs here and there is not exactly the same thing as growing a channel to 20 million subs in 6 months.
Let's do some basic math.
I mean, hell, even I can frickin' do it.
If you knew what I knew, you could get 10 million views a video.
If you just knew what I knew, me, the YouTube genius, and, you know, had about $30 million budget, but, you know, whatever. You can get 10 million views a video. Anyone can do it. It's not like I'm just a company with 120 employees. It's not my fault. I'm just so much smarter than everyone else.
If you knew what I knew, you could get 10 million views a video.
You are a walking corporation, not a YouTuber. But the idiots will keep spouting the same thing, and they will keep ending up in these YouTube shorts, which will get 20 million views, and it's just going to be a never-ending snowball effect. Even things like Kick, for example, can be in the same exact ballpark. Now, in case you, for whatever reason, you're unfamiliar, Kick is a brand new, or at least relatively new live streaming platform, which of course has the main goal of just beating Twitch at their own game without doing anything actually better than Twitch, at least from the perspective of 99% of the average everyday consumers. But they do have a genius marketing strategy. It's called wasting $100 million to bribe a popular Twitch streamer to go to their website instead and watch definitely copyright-free Breaking Bad episodes, which I'm sure won't result in any kind of lawsuit problem in the future by any means. That's definitely a 10 out of 10 strategy. Why is this familiar? It's almost like I predicted this exact same thing almost 4 years ago with Mixer. Well, no, I couldn't possibly have been correct there. Mixer couldn't possibly fail. After all, there's Ninja in the thumbnail. They paid Ninja $40 million just to switch from Twitch. And if that wasn't enough, they paid Shroud then the same amount of money. They are unstoppable. Nope, Mixer's taking down Twitch. Get over it. Twitch is done. Mixer is here to stay. The reason I'm even bringing it up is because Kick itself can also be considered an influencer company, since it was co-founded by a streamer themselves. But here's the problem. Doing the exact same thing that something else already succeeds at is not a recipe for succeeding. Kick reached 10 million accounts in only 7 months, and people actually doubted it. It's over for Twitch, and it's only a matter of time. What's this? Oh. Mixer reached 10 million accounts within the first 6 months too? Well, Mixer just wasn't innovative enough after all. It's not like they were funded by $2.7 trillion Microsoft or something. No, I'm sure that they're capable of beating Twitch at their own game, considering that they have a complete monopoly. Oh wait, Kick uses the exact same server hosting company that owns Twitch. Yes, this seems like it's going to work out. When you really boil everything all down, it all comes down to a very simple conclusion. YouTube world is not the real world. And the reason all of this keeps happening is because when influencers get successful on these platforms like Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, it skews the mindset of them thinking what exactly they can succeed on in the real world. Well, if I can make all these millions of dollars shilling my merch to these millions of 10-year-olds watching my videos, clearly I could just take down McDonald's by just inventing a literal copy and pasted version of them. But the sad truth is, no, unfortunately, that's not how it works, Chief. And that is why influencer companies don't work. I'm so sorry, Mr. Breast. Please forgive me. This is not supposed to be an expose on him. I have nothing against him on a personal level. I don't even care that he uses his fame to convince millions of fans to waste millions of dollars on causes that will do absolutely no difference in helping the world. And quite honestly, it's not my concern whether or not Logan Paul pays back the millions of dollars that he directly stole from his very audience. Overall, the free market speaks for themselves. And if people want to keep coming back to watch them and keep paying them even more money, then all's fair is fair. But before you start writing your hate comment as to explain that I'm just some baseless hater on someone like MrBeast, note that I watched MrBeast and supported him when he was uploading videos containing bleach jokes that barely got 1,000 views. All of these influencers came from the same place at one point or another, and they all ended up in the same place. The real world is quite harsh, and stepping out of the YouTube bubble isn't exactly what it's all cut out to be. Anyways, thanks for enduring this terrible video. I know you're very upset, so do me a favor and outlet your rage into the button about 2 inches below the screen. And if you do that, you'll at least get 10 years of good luck, so you could at least walk away with something interesting. Until the next time, see ya.